Our next talk is about product design, which I really enjoy because I used to be a product designer for physical products. So Marlety will talk about product design innovations. She's from Empathy, and I'm really excited.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, all good? Okay. Right, so hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. Most of you probably don't know who I am. So I would like to start my talk today by introducing myself. Hopefully that will help you all understand why what I'm going to be talking about is important to me and help it make it important to you too. The topic I'm going to be discussing is whether e-commerce design or design in general can contribute to making the world a better place. So my journey until being here today has been one with quite a lot of weaves, from farming dreams to architectural imaginations and until eventually landing onto product design at Empathy. But the reason behind all these movements around has always been something very important for me. I had always dreamt about leaving a stamp on the world. That's why I admire so much figures like Socrates, Picasso, Maria Montessori, or Sarah Parks. And how did this journey begin? When I was a child, I wanted to be a farmer. I wanted to have a huge farm and rescue all the animals and children in need. And my granddad, who was as big of a dreamer as myself, was going to help me look after all those souls. But he died of leukemia, and that dream kind of died with him. Then when I was at high school, I wanted to become an architect. I wanted to travel around the world and build houses for all sorts of different families with different needs, different backgrounds, different lives. But then the 2007-2008 global economic crisis exploded, and that idea exploded with it. I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life, and probably one of the worst ones was studying industrial engineering. Well, yes. My final degree project was designing a die punch for a tiny Volkswagen cart piece. And you would say, what is there to design in that? Well, yeah, exactly. Thankfully, somebody close to me saw something in me that I couldn't quite define myself, and he suggested me, why don't you look into something a bit more creative? I said, okay. So that's how I left my home country, Spain, and moved to the UK to study a master's degree in advertising. I loved it. It was magical. Even though one of my professors very kindly suggested to me not to make any use of my amazing sense of humor whatsoever when creating a campaign, which I just took with humor. The biggest problem came when I had to find a job that I could make a living out of and that matched my principles. I couldn't. I wish I had, but I couldn't. So that's how I eventually shifted degrees and looked up to design. I started working on a toy company, designing toys and games. I adored it. It was fantastic. I still remember the first time I saw a game I had designed on the top of a store shelf, and I couldn't breathe of self-satisfaction. It was amazing. I could imagine little ones and not so little all around the world playing with that game and being immensely happy for a moment. I also tried photography during that time. Thanks technology for smart cameras, I was so bad at it. I also did some teaching, which I loved, and eventually ended up in product design. I currently am a product designer and design manager at empathy.com, a company whose values, trust, understanding, and joy could very well be my own. We help customers have access to empathetic, human-centered digital shopping experiences that fulfill their needs, and we help brands through that process. Luckily, with one of my main jobs, being a pro designer with one of our main clients, a retailer in the States, I get to work with different people with all sorts of different backgrounds. And that's fantastic. You learn so much from that. My name is Marlety García. My motto in life is designing for people with people. I love acquiring new experiences as long as they have nothing to do with heights or risky sports. I love learning. I love reading anything that comes into my hands. I love traveling, so thank you for giving me the perfect excuse to come to Berlin today. And I also love animals as long as they don't have 8 eyes and 8 legs, which I find a bit creepy. You can find me on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out. I'm always up for a good conversation. Because I believe in designing with people, for people, I think the greatest thing we have as designers is being surrounded by the best team. Because your best growth and self-achievement comes through the greatness of those around you. But let's get into the roots of what brings me here today, which is discussing whether design can make the world a better place. But then let's try and take a step back and go through what design is. And for that, we need to go back and make a trip to the past. It is still very frequently taught that design started with the Industrial Revolution. An idea that for me completely ignores the fact that design has been around for as long as human beings have. It's present everywhere. It can be on such a small forum as between 2 people, or in such a large forum as between 2 cultures. It's a way of visual communication. Design main focus is addressing needs and goals. It offers solutions to all sorts of problems. It can also express emotions or tell stories, but mainly it always has an intention. In words of Steve Jobs, design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. So then, why is inclusive design so important? Design finds solutions. We kind of agree on that. But what do product designers do then? We love technology. We love market trends. We love creating experiences for people. But above all, we like helping people. We, with our roles, have the power of greatly impacting the world. But like every power, it comes with a great responsibility. If you design for everyone, you design for no one. So how do we make sure we are not designing for everyone? If we design for everyone, we let our own biases come into the game. And we end up designing for what we consider the normal, but that doesn't mean if it's you or you or you. E-commerce has opened up a world of new opportunities, but as the way we shop continues to be revolutionized, 16% of world's population experience a significant disability, and we often don't think of them. Up to 2022, only 3% of the internet was accessible. That doesn't say much about pro designers, does it? I still remember the first time I saw an interview to a blind person, and I know I'm talking about an extreme, but still, I was shocked to see something that we had designed was such a struggle for this person. So I wanted to share a small clip with you so you can all see what I mean. Unfortunately, there is no sound, but basically what is happening is this person is going with a screen reader through all the different items, because you know how screen readers work. They have to read you every item. And once she gets to the end of the layer that displays when she clicks on the search box, it goes to the back. But like we are all seeing, that layer is still open and that person doesn't know. So she is stuck. We have designed a very poor experience. But accessibility is only the tip of the iceberg. Because just in the US, there's over 1 million non-binary adults. And we continue to see old-fashioned groups like this, women and men. Well, we know there's much more than that now, don't we? E-commerce product designers have the power to make e-commerce a better, safer, more inclusive place. And we have to make use of that power. So, how do we design inclusively? It should be utterly clear by now that designing for everyone is not the solution. So, how do we make sure we target individual needs, contexts, abilities, backgrounds, priorities, preferences? Through personalization. Personalization allows us to create conversational, human, ethical, digital experiences. I would like to discuss 3 ways that help myself on my day-to-day to contribute to designing more inclusively. The first one of them is making sure we solve the core of the customer problem. The second one is building flexible design systems that embrace customization. And the third one is adopting a humanity-centered approach that moves towards personalization. So, first one, solving the core of each customer problem. We often fail to solve the core of each customer problem because we stick to the symptoms and not the source. Wisdom begins with wonder, said Socrates. He probably was the first pro-designer philosopher in the world. We have to ask questions in order to get answers. And how do we do that? We have research, we have testing, but we always have to make sure we research and test with a wider spectrum of people. One of my favorite ways of getting to know the customer are moderated interviews. I know they can be quite time-consuming in a world as hectic as ours, where we don't have much time. But I find they are a magnificent way of talking to our customers, getting to know them, and getting all sorts of information. A few months ago, we did a holistic study to evaluate how our search experience looked like, how it really looked like, because we all have our idea of how it looks like, but we really wanted to see what it looked like to our shoppers. This is the case of a lady who was raising her nephew on her own. She was working full-time, she had a manic life, and a kid jumping all over her while doing the interview. What I really love about these interviews is we have the information that we know about that person, we have the information that they share with us, but we also get to observe, which is amazing, because the amount of things we can see from that observation, we don't get anywhere else. So from this particular person, we knew she had no partner, she was raising her nephew, working full-time. She shopped for organic produce and buys the same items all the time. She also says she really cares for product quality, thrives for inspiration for recipes, is not really interested in what others buy, and finds it really frustrating when she gets results that don't really match her intent. We also observe she would really benefit from a quick, immediate access to recurrent items to make that shopping experience faster. She does not use filters, but instead she goes back to the search box and types again what she wants to find. So how could we make her experience better? So, for example, as soon as she opens, she clicks on the search box, we could display suggestions that are more accurate to what she is intending to buy. We could also offer her products that she has previously purchased in order to give her a really quick, immediate solution to the problem that she has. We could also offer her recipes because she says she is striving for that inspiration. So there's multiple ways we could improve her experience. Then when she lands on the results page, we could be offering her options to refine that query based on what we know from her, based on what we know she would like. And then that way, we would be offering her just what she needs and making her shopping experience so much easier and faster. On to the next topic, building flexible design systems. We know design systems are part of the brand identity for brands because they provide better UX quality, they increase the efficiency between design and development, they improve costs, they improve time to market, and make maintenance so much easier. But for us, that wasn't enough, because we wanted a design system that was easy to configure and that we could customize to fit our customer needs. That's how we came up with a flexible dynamic design system that is made out of a lot of different components that we can pick and choose to match the needs of our client. And when I talk about clients in this case, I don't talk about the shopper, but I talk about the companies we work with to help them improve their shopping experience. We are capable of customizing this design system to adapt it to the needs of their own shoppers. So for us, this was a really long journey, but we can say it really suits what we wanted to achieve. Finally, adopting a humanity-centered approach. We have to understand our customers. We have to understand their challenges, their environment, their problems, their needs, their contexts, their entire ecosystem in order to act on each individual's intent towards a personalized, intelligent experience that respects them. Because this last part is really important. We have to respect them. We have to read and interpret their intention and learn from it, but always respecting their privacy. So we have a particular shopper who, again, has a very busy life, don't we all? He co-owns a bookstore, lives with his partner. He has food allergies, intolerance, like don't we all? And he also likes practicing sports, cooking, experimenting with new recipes, and loves entertaining at home. He obviously doesn't do the washing after that. So what does this person's current shopping experience look like? Well, almost the same as everybody else's. But how could we improve that shopping experience for this person? Well, he likes inspiration. So as soon as he clicks on the search box, we could be offering him inspiration, ideas for new recipes, departments or sections or things that are popular based on seasonal things. For example, he might want to do a great Christmas dinner. Well, let's give him the options to do that. But then once he lands on the results page, let's enable him the option to refine a query to find something a bit more inspirational for him. Let's give him access to his favorite items, but also to other items that might not be his favorite ones, but that he may really like based on his intent. And then let's take this journey to the next step. And once he adds something to the cart, let's continue that conversation and offer him items that complete that basket. For example, if he adds a roast beef, well, he might want to cook a Sunday roast. So let's give him access to gravy, to broccoli, to all those things that go with a Sunday roast. I love Sunday roast, by the way. And when he filters, let's give him access to his favorite filters because he has food preferences, food allergies. So he needs an easy access to that. He needs to quickly filter those items out. Okay, so we have to see customers as individuals with specific needs and characteristics. Because when we do that, we create experiences that solve each one's particular problems in a customized way that moves away from the norm. We have to respect our shoppers. We have to learn from them. And with that, we get closer to a 21st design culture that changes not only what design is, but also what it is approach the individual, not the majority, and how, in a tailored, respectful, objective way. So, in conclusion, can e-commerce design make the world a better place? I think it absolutely can. We have seen that design helps us find personalized solutions to clients' needs while creating elevated, joyful shopping experiences that respects customers in an inclusive way. We have also seen that designing inclusively is important because it takes us closer to creating ethical, trustworthy experiences in e-commerce that help customers search and find what they need, whoever and wherever they are. We have also seen that we can design more inclusively, understanding our customers, really understanding them, having flexible structures that allow us to adopt and worship a respectful, humanity-centered approach that fulfills their specific goals. We have to see design as a way of thinking, one that empowers us to forge respectful, powerful human solutions that solve individual needs in a personalized, ethical way. And for that, we are the owners. We have to impulse change. We have to create awareness, design with willingness, and leave a stamp on the world that really makes a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Any questions?
Thank you for a great talk and beautiful presentation slides. I really liked the examples of personalization, but I have a question. Do you think we should also ensure diversity in showing like products? So for example, for this guy, Roger, who likes to cook, how do we ensure and should we ensure that his search results are not, his app is not filled with cooking ingredients? Like maybe sometimes he wants to have raw fruits or chocolate as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key answer is in giving the choice. We have to give customers a choice to interact with some things or not. And then we have to learn from that reaction and create systems that go towards that direction. So for example, he usually engages with one thing or the other. Well, we know he tends to go towards that preference. So yes, absolutely. I think diversity is a must, but overall, I think we need to learn from that particular customer in order to create the best experience for them.
Thank you for your talk. My question would be, so I feel that you think personalization is really important, right? But it's from an engineering standpoint, it might be difficult, right, to make everything custom. So what did you say, if you could only personalize one thing, what would that be and why?
One thing as in one particular feature or?
Yes.
Oh, that's a tough question. Can I choose at least three? Well, I think results are very important. So for example, if I, based on diversity, based on the thing before that, if I don't often buy beef and I search for meat, well, maybe I don't want to see beef. So I think personalizing the results is very important. Basically, because we can fall into hurting someone. So maybe somebody, talking about something more extreme, maybe somebody is vegan. So I shouldn't show that person results that are not vegan. So like meat or chicken or things like that. So I think results is very important. But for me, what we have seen, or what I have seen in my experience is the first contact with the customer is the search layer. So that for me has the greatest power because that's your first stop. So that is equally important. What we show there, and we are constantly trying to improve that, is what is going to define what you see next. So I've given to you two.
Thanks a lot for the great talk. So I see that you want to ideally individualize the full experience on a shop. which has the benefit that everything is super nice for the customer, but on the other side, also it's challenging to configure it either for yourself or automatically. So I see it's okay. At some point in 20 years from now, we might be there. Now we're not there. What do you see are the first steps that will happen to actually go there, and what will be the challenge? How do we overcome the challenge that people usually don't want to configure the websites, but more expect, hey, this is the website I go to. This works how it works, and if I don't like it, I go elsewhere. So how do you want to overcome this problem?
So, well, you probably all guessed that I'm a bit of a dreamer. So I see myself in 30 years' time already. But for me, I think at the moment, what we can do is give our customers the power to decide, the power to configure their experience, the power to have a say in what they see or don't see. And that's possible today. So I think if we lean towards that, that will give us all the knowledge we will need in the future to go to the next step.
Have you got ideas to make the personalization transparent to the user so that he can decide otherwise or exclude some actions from recommendation or
yes,
things?
That's a great question. Yes, I think we need to give them the power to decide. For example, on the layer that you display once you click on the search box, there's so many things that could be done with that. They could be choosing what are their preferences, what they're not, whether they want to see their history, whether they don't because it doesn't bring value to them. Or even when you go to the results page, it would be wonderful giving them the option to see different layouts, because some people might like seeing things in a particular way, some others might like seeing them in a different way. So I think there's just little things that we could do that would improve it so much.
So I have one actually, because I like the idea of inclusion. So it even matches our venue today. I wonder if for inclusion, personalization is the right way, because from my understanding from the past, when I was a physical designer, we tried to do stuff so everybody can use it. So we don't take the average height, but we take the smallest and the tallest one and look that both can use it. So I feel like inclusion would be different because you have to make it accessible to everyone. So from the lowest complexity, and then you can add the other stuff. What would you say?
You see, I see it the other way around. So for me, if we make it inclusive through making it accessible for everyone, we're always going to miss somebody. So that's why I think personalization gives us a way through that, because then we're not looking at what the majority needs, but what a particular person needs. It's very complex because there's I don't know, millions and millions of different needs and different cases. But I think even though it's never, or well, almost never, going to be possible to target them all, we need to open our minds to that, because when we start talking about that and when we start getting consciousness about that, then we are moving in the right direction, and eventually we will get closer to the perfection.
So in case of the blind person, you would need to know that the person is blind.
What, sorry?
The person which is blind, for example, you would need to know it to personalize it to.
Yeah, for example,
Yeah, but wouldn't it be better so everybody can access the front end so it works, and on top you can do the other stuff? Because otherwise you need to know, and how do you know that?
Absolutely. I think there are some things that you need to create with that grounding. So for example, designing for a blind person, what we've seen in the video, well, that's something that you can do for everyone, and it won't affect people that are not blind. It's just a matter of understanding there's that problem and there's that need, and making sure you target that. But that's on one level. And then there's the next level that is, okay, once we get those basics, how do we make the experience go on to the next level?
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.